I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp., RMO on the TSX Venture Exchange. Rainy Mountain's Brunswick property is located in the Rideout Shear Zone in Ontario. With grab samples running as high as 32 grams per ton gold, a drill program will commence this spring to test the numerous targets located by recent groundwork. For more information, visit our website, rmroyalty.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mike Swanson from WallStreetWindow.com. Welcome back to the show, Mike.
Oh, it's great to talk to you. Interesting stock market action this week. At the moment, the market averages are up. Seems to be going back up to the highs. We've seen a little bit of weakness over the past couple of weeks with some stocks, Facebook, Amazon, and Netflix, and those kind of took a little bit of a tumble over the past couple of days, and they're kind of acting weaker than the market. But I think what we are seeing is a continuation of the move that started a couple of weeks ago. If you can recall, following the hurricane, the market averages in the United States gapped up that Monday, and we've been going up a little bit higher since then, but everything is fairly overbought, and I wouldn't really expect this just to go crazy. But what I would look for is a sign that things are getting ready to slow down or reverse a little bit is the Russell 2000 at the moment is going up the most, so it's leading the move. You can look at that with the ETF IWM. If it at some point is red in the next couple of days, I would think that's a sign that the current move is over. If you look at a chart, it did that in July and earlier this year too. When the Russell reversed, the Dow did go up a little bit more in August, but the other averages really lost momentum. So today, the market's up, but I think sometime soon we'll probably see the momentum start to fade out. So I'm not one really, trying to chase the stocks or something. In fact, I already got long-term investments in gold and mining stocks that I'm happy with, and some other stuff too.
Apparently the Trump tax plan has been leaked. Corporate taxes down to 20% in the U.S. If this leak is true, is that a good move, and what's it coming down from?
Well, it's hard to really tell what's going to happen. That's kind of the initial proposal. And the stuff I've been reading this week, in the Wall Street Journal and the other national newspapers, suggests, that there's going to be a big debate with the congressional committees, lobbyists, and whatever to see what actually finally is ever passed. It's probably going to take several months. So to give you one example, most small business people in the United States have S corporations, and these tax cuts may or may not apply to them. And the Mnuchin Treasury Secretary, he's made statements before today that some S corporations, he doesn't want to get the tax breaks. He singled out so-called service sector places such as accountants and lawyers, insurance brokers, that for whatever reason he thinks they're undeserving. And then other Republican congressmen think all S corporations should be treated equally. And that's really a big issue because, the giant corporations are going to get some sort of tax cut, but will small business people, we really don't know how this is all going to play out, what deductions are going to go away, what you're going to stay. Another issue is there's talk that the Trump administration would want to do away with the deductions that people make on their state for state taxes that they pay, which would really have a hit on people that live in states where that's really high, such as New York or California. It could even cancel out any benefits they get from other income tax breaks. So I really think it's all up in the air. I would say it's a positive that something seems to be happening, but what it's going to end up, really nobody knows. And, it probably is helping the stock market today. It's giving people a reason to buy, but, I try not to trade based on news or politics or anything like that. And personally, I stick with money management fundamentals and also what I see in the charts, which I mentioned the short-term momentum could fade out, but to go into a bigger bear market would take some time. We need real internal deterioration inside the stock market. We started to see a whiff of that in August and July, but this month, internals firmed up. For example, the percentage of stocks below the moving averages firmed up, and I was looking for a potential correction in October going into September. That's what I was thinking, but it's not so much the market going up the past 2 weeks, but these internals firming up suggest to me that we're really not on the cusp of a big drop ahead of us, but I would expect before the year's over we'll see the market averages, speaking of the Dow and the S&P 500, test their 150 and 200-day moving averages, which isn't much of a pullback. From here it wouldn't be, but I think less than 5%. So regardless of the tax stuff, I view that as a one-day event for the moment, and it's going to take months for it to ever come to fruition. And next week it'll be a different news event that we're talking about. So that's kind of my thoughts on the tax stuff.
We'll have more with Mike Swanson right after the break.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
I'm Larry Ray, President and CEO of American Manganese, Inc., listed on the TSX Venture, ticker symbol AMY, A-M-Y, with proprietary patents in the U.S., China, and South Africa. Our focus is on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. China recently legislated the responsibility for recycling onto their electric vehicle manufacturers and importers. For more information, please visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mike Swanson. Mike, it's interesting that small business in the U.S. may not get a tax break, or if they do in one area, it'll be taken away. Interestingly, the Trudeau government in Canada has also proposed big tax hikes for small business. Both in the U.S. and Canada, small business generates over 70% of the jobs in both countries. Why are the governments going after the generators of the jobs in our countries?
Well,
easy pickings?
I think the small business people may generate lots of jobs. I'm a small business person. You really are too. But we don't have lobbyists. I mean, we don't have armies of lobbyists like Boeing and just all the major corporations do. I mean, if you look at the Boeing news that came out today too, they have pressured the Trump administration to cancel a jet deal they had with Bombardier based in England, and then it came out that Delta Airlines is saying, well, Boeing doesn't even make these airplanes. The point of that is lobbyists in action make things happen to the benefit of the people they represent, and small business people really don't have lobbyists. I mean, in the United States, most small business people tend to vote Republican and consider themselves to be conservative, but once those people are in office, they're going to listen to the lobbyists. And that's just the reality, and I think that's what Mnuchin himself is an example of. I mean, he worked on Wall Street, and he knows all the leading titans of corporate America, and he's going to, put their interests ahead of someone like myself, who has no chance to directly communicate with him at all. If I tried to call the Treasury Department, they would laugh at me most likely. But if someone from Goldman calls, he'll answer the phone for them, no doubt about it. Now, I assume the situation is pretty much the same in Canada too, but hopefully there'll be some trickle down and we'll get some crumbs out of this some way or another.
The U.S. Department of Commerce has ruled against Bombardier, based in Quebec, after this Boeing complaint, and has slapped a 220% tariff on the C-Series aircraft, which is made, I think the wings are made in Great Britain, the engines are made in the U.S., the fuselage is made in Canada, and they put them all together in Quebec. The Canadian government bailed out the company, just like the U.S. government bailed out the banks, but I don't see any tariffs being slapped on U.S. banks doing business. I guess it's really true. You have to have the lobbyists there. Also leaked on the Trump tax plan, billionaires will see their taxes reduced as well. And his cabinet has a huge number of billionaires.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Wilbur Ross is one of them, as who you mentioned. And yeah, you got more of the details on the airplane situation. But it's interesting, but in regards to people investing in the stock market, one of the biggest characteristic of the market this year and really the past couple of years has been the low volatility, meaning the market isn't really moving up and down that much in any given day. Today is one of the more unusual days of the year. We are having a bigger move today, but that's like unusual for this year. And the same thing's going on, interesting, of gold and mining stocks. From the way they historically trade, they've been in a fairly tight range this year. The GDX gold stock ETF is like trading in a 10 or 15, basically 10% range the past couple months, and it's nothing, for that to go up or down in a typical year by 30 or 40 or 50%. Went up 100% last year. But that's just one example. The low volatility is the general characteristic of the stock market this year, not huge gains or huge losses. And this is a situation I think one day is going to change, probably next year. I don't see any evidence it's going to change this week or next month. So that's what I think we really have to be in guard on for as investors. And these news items, tax cuts, the tariffs being slapped on these aircraft manufacturers, and even just the kind of from an American perspective, the kind of chaos of our culture, whether you consider yourself on the left or the right, there is chaos with people. The NFL situation, makes people angry or some people vocal or whatever, and there's a sense of turmoil and unease that people really have. However, the stock market is the opposite situation of that. So that's a very curious thing, and I think one day that's going to change, and the stock market will, be a more wild place than it has been. But that's not where we are now, and I think we have to accept that investing environment. I mean, for myself, I was looking at the possibility of a bigger drop in this fall, and put on some bets for that possibility, but I've had to take them off and react to what's really happening, and that's kind of how we have to deal with these situations. Gold is kind of establishing a range. It had a range throughout this year of around 1,200 to 1,300 as resistance and support range, and it broke out of that this August and went up to about 1,350 roughly. And now we've dipped down to about 1,280, and I think we're now establishing a new trading range for gold. So that's something I think people should be on the look for, and it could last for quite some time, just like the previous one did.
We'll have more with Mike Swanson right after this.
Arctic Star Exploration, operated by a team of proven mine finders, is focused on diamonds in Finland and the Northwest Territories of Canada. A work program is planned for our Finland property that contains diamond-bearing kimberlite. Arctic Star trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ADD, and the Frankfurt Exchange, symbol 82A1. Please visit our website at arcticstar.ca or call us at 604-689-1799.
Keep informed. Receive our weekly recap of thought-provoking articles, podcasts, and radio delivered to your inbox for free. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage, HowStreet.com. Welcome back. We're speaking with Mike Swanson. Mike, everybody keeps saying oil is going to have a big drop, yet here it is, over $52 a barrel, well past the end of the driving season now. What's behind that?
Well, that's another example of and I'm one of the people that was looking for oil to drop. Back in January and February, we had a rally that kind of ended then, and I was saying that was the end of the rally, and we would probably see oil fall and energy stocks decline too. And interestingly, the energy stock sector became about the worst performing sector in the entire stock market. If you look at something like the XLE ETF, it went down just about every single week up until it put in a low in August, and then it went straight up. But I got to say right now, it looks like it's probably topping out here, and I'm looking for it to kind of lose its momentum and start to fade. But the oil stock, the price of oil just went down to about $45 a barrel, and now we're back up, as you said, to $53 a barrel. And so the decline down to the mid-40s caused these oil stocks to crumble, and now oil's back at 53. To me, the most interesting thing about that is, again, it's an example of actually a lack of volatility in the oil market. That's not, the mid-40s to $53 a barrel is a fairly small range. I mean, it's possible we get up to 55 or 57, but it's still a fairly tight range. And seasonally, oil actually tends to dip until the winter time, from sometime in the fall to the winter. So that makes me think that oil is not going to collapse, but we'll go back down below 50 and just kind of float around, and just like everything else is kind of having low volatility. So I think it's very interesting markets from that standpoint.
Mike, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you. It's good to talk with you.
My guest has been Mike Swanson from WallStreetWindow.com. If you have any questions for Mike or for any other guest on the show, you can send them to info@HowStreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of House Street Media Incorporated.